the Resident Evil and Silent Hill series. As you sneak through the city, you encounter all sorts of strange characters, many of which you can speak to, trade with, recruit to your cause, steal from, or even attack if you so choose. You can approach this game in a million ways. It's up to you how you plan to survive. Your actions may lead to wealth, disaster, betrayal, or may even lead to uncovering some of the city's darkest secrets and the game's many hidden endings. The main character is no powerful hero. You awaken in the city transformed into a weak, frail goblin and may need to rely on desperate measures for your survival. You will likely need help from other survivors you meet, and it is up to you to decide who you trust and recruit to your cause.
Yeah, I can put Muzero Rosenbach back on there again after this one.
Combat is in a classic turn-based style with a focus on managing scarce resources and building unique strategies by recruiting all sorts of different party members, equipping them, and teaching them new skills. Monsters move closer to you during combat, increasing the threat and tension as they begin using their more devastating attacks. You do not want them too close. I stream development work of Malison Tuesday to Friday at 7 p.m. EST on Twitch. I also have new development update streams on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. EST. There is also a Discord you can join for the game. Check below. Malison: The Cursed City is a fantasy survival horror RPG published by Devolver Digital, currently in development, in which you investigate a sinister city filled with hundreds of grotesque monsters, demons, and weirdos. It focuses on exploration and atmosphere. Its main influences are both classic Western RPGs like Baldur's Gate, Japanese RPGs like Final Fantasy, as well as survival horror games such as the Resident Evil and Silent Hill series. As you sneak through the city, you encounter all sorts of strange characters, many of which you can speak to, trade with, recruit to your cause, steal from, or even attack if you so choose. You can approach this game in a million ways. It's up to you how you plan to survive. Your actions may lead to wealth, disaster, betrayal, or may even lead to uncovering some of the city's darkest secrets and the game's many hidden endings. The main character is no powerful hero. You awaken in the city transformed into a weak, frail goblin and may need to rely on desperate measures for your survival. You will likely need help from other survivors you meet, and it is up to you to decide who you trust and recruit to your cause. Combat is in a classic turn-based style with a focus on managing scarce resources and building unique strategies by recruiting all sorts of different party members, equipping them, and teaching them new skills. Monsters move closer to you during combat, increasing the threat and tension as they begin using their more devastating attacks. You do not want them too close.
I've been busy with a lot of little things. I've been busy with a lot of little things. But now I'm ready to get cracking. Oh, the music wasn't even playing the whole time. Whoops, sorry about that. Yeah, I've been working on some stuff related to localization work and other things too. And also making meatloaf, yes. I've been doing a little bit more cooking recently. So I'm trying a bunch of things I've never made before. And it was meatloaf today. It was pretty good. All right. So let's see. Alright, alright. Alright, let's go through some of these. Alright, miscellaneous. The shadow does not count for the people in the apartment total, even though he has mealtime interactions. No, I don't want the shadow to be included in that. Yeah, no, because if the shadow was included in this, that means you could not. Well, no, I guess there would still be a way. No, you could still do loner mask ending because you don't need to get the shadow in your apartment to get the rose. So technically, you still could. But yeah, no, I mean the loner. I mean, it does make it feel like you're not. Yeah. I mean, okay, gameplay, like game design wise, I kind of prefer if the shadow can be in your home. Or I guess I just don't mind. But thematically speaking, you're more of a loner if you tell the shadow to fuck off, right? So that makes more sense, you know? Hmm. So like yeah, game design wise it doesn't matter as much, but you know, in the spirit of the thing, it kind of makes sense to exclude having Shadow in your party to get the loner status. Hmm. I don't think I'll change it. I don't feel strongly enough to make a change. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. It's just Sam in the apartment. Just talking to himself. True. But yeah, no, I just don't feel strongly enough to make the change. So I think I'll just leave things as is. And I'll lean more into the gameplay part of the logic than the, you know, the thematic part of it. Because that's, to me, achievements are more about the gameplay challenge. I don't know. And also, yeah, I don't know. Eh. Wrigley Fred should also count. Yeah. I don't know either about Wrigley. Especially since Wrigley forces himself like you don't actually invite him in. So if Wrigley would be a much bigger issue. Making Wrigley Fred joining your apartment break loner would be kind of unfair. But I mean, that's also what happens with Lyle. Lyle kind of barges in, but at least with Lyle, it's kind of meant to feel like like you didn't mean to. Like it's kind of meant to be out of your control. That's like part of it. So it kind of works at least with Lyle. While with Wrigley, he's just meant to be like, a little weirdo. Hmm. It is possible to get the no saves bonus for the final game score, even if the player makes a save in Explorer mode. Oh, is it? Wait, I thought that the save menu actually broke it. I thought I had actually programmed that in. Hmm. Yeah, I kind of imagine Sam is has a French accent, yeah. Oh, what was that? Oh, yeah, that was kind of weird. Had like a Windows Explorer crash just now. That was weird. Anyway. Yeah, I'd imagine Sam could have a French Canadian kind of accent. But I mean, again, Sam is really meant to be sort of up to your imagination as a character, you know? Like, I mean, anything that isn't mentioned explicitly in the game, it's all about letting you kind of fill the blanks, and especially Sam. Yeah, basically. Blank slate except when it's funny. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you could imagine him being just I mean, blank slate doesn't mean he has to be generic. Blank slate just mean you kind of up it's kind of up to you to play Sam whatever however you want. You could decide that Sam is a little freak, a little weirdo, and he like kills all the NPCs in the game. That's a valid Sam too. I mean, some parts of the game are going to contradict that at one point, but there's some answers in there. There's some answers in there that are very stupid or vile or just really weirdly hostile. It's part of the fun. It's part of the fun for of like RPGs like that. Okay, so yeah, let's look into the plugin here. I mean, I just like the idea of Sam having one thing that really terrifies him, and it actually kind of affects how you can or can't interact with someone, because it's almost like you always have the option of being kind, and then it kind of makes it feel meaningful that it's taken away at one point, like frustrating your natural inclination of being friendly with all the characters, like taking that away with one guy, even though he's literally like the nicest, literally the nicest person in the whole building, and you can basically only be a dick to him. And I think that's kind of fun. A code that said sexy. Hmm. Code is pretty sexy overall. I mean, I think it's kind of fun when it's kind of fun to have just a surprising element of your character that you're not, you know. I think it's just fun to have an element that you don't really have control over like that. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. So I think it's something in there should be the save. Yeah, when you save, that should set this to true. But okay, right. I guess the problem is that you always have saves in survivor mode. In explorer mode, the saves are automatic. So I guess it should just be impossible to get that bonus at all. Hmm. I guess it should, yeah, just yeah, autosaves are always there, so I guess you should not be able to get that achievement at all on explorer mode because it's always saving anyway. Yeah, I'll just remove that achievement in explorer mode. You need to at least be playing explorer. You literally cannot play without saves in explorer mode, even if you never load, and there's no way for the game to know if you've loaded or not. Cold shoulder, no, that would not be affected because that just means you're I mean, I guess the thing is that you don't need Sybil to save in Explorer mode either. So it just doesn't really have an effect on the game at all to tell her off. Hmm. So maybe Cold Shoulder should also be disabled. I imagine most fears come from some kind of trauma. Like, for a while, I had arachnophobia, and I can basically bring it back to a like one or two specific encounters with spiders as a kid. And actually an encounter with wasps was also kind of key in part of that. Like I can just kind of like I can just basically walk my way back to where it comes from. So I imagine most phobias are like that. But I mean, I guess maybe some are more complicated. Yeah, I stepped on a wasp nest and that made me just really freak out about insects for like a year or two. And in that time, I also just I started noticing bugs and spiders everywhere way more than I did before. Like before, I just ignored them; they're just not important, right? Now I started just looking around, like being sort of hyper aware of insects. Um, and that's when I saw like over that year, I saw 3 really large spiders. And those were like the most significant sort of little creatures that I saw in that time. And that made me like really kind of freaked out about spiders. Yeah. So yeah, I had sort of like kind of a mild, I mean, it kind of went up and down. There was a time where my arachnophobia, there was a time where it was really bad, where I had like nightmares of it and I had like night terrors of spiders. And about like I don't know 5 6 years ago, it started sort of it started going down a bit. I started like um I started just like on purpose not removing spiders when I saw them. I started like coexisting with spiders on purpose to sort of get used to them being around. And it took a while, but that sort of over time that kind of helped me sort of reduce my reaction to them. Still have like a little bit of a moment of shock if I see a large spider near me, but you know, it's just a lot. It's not nearly as bad now since I took sort of this initiative to sort of on purpose be with spiders. No, there's no. I'm in Canada, so up here we don't have a lot of. There's not a lot of big spiders. Like the biggest spiders here are just not that big. Hey, thank you, Enwol. No, Comatose is not a recruitable party member. Sorry, I'm not. I'm not adding more party members to the game. The game is gonna remain more or less how it is now, with some little additions and tweaks and balancing and new skills and like little adjustments now. We're not like making big additions of anything anymore. Well, I have to stop adding to the game, you know, because if we keep adding to the game constantly, it's gonna get really bloated. We got to be careful about that. Like, there's a few things I'm still thinking about, possible additions, but now any addition now comes with the risk of like, yeah, of like bloating the game. But yeah, you can do. Yeah, there's mods. I'm sure there's a mod for Commodus already. Oh yeah, huntsman spiders. Huntsman spiders are pretty spooky, but from what I understand, they're basically harmless, right? They're just very scary looking, but they're very. They're just not. Yeah, at this point, that's one big thing. Yeah, that now that we're working on localization, adding new content has become much more complicated, and now comes with way more extra work. Since now, like localization is now fully underway. By the way, this is one of the things. One of the reasons I had to stop my stream early yesterday is I had to I had a deadline to meet for like having the localization kit ready for the translators to get started. Um, so I did do that. I did send them that on time. Um, I did send that on time. Oh yes, I heard about that. About that mod. Yeah, that looks cool. I do want to try some mods at one point. I do want to try some mods at one point. That's a mod that adds a new character and a new boss, and a new character that has a bunch of dialogue and stuff all over the game. So basically, just a mod of a new character and like an associated quest and location and boss. It's fun. That's cool. That's a cool shape for mods to take, I think. Unfortunately, with how RPG Maker works, it's probably really difficult to have multiple mods on because any like new enemy takes a specific slot in like the list of enemies and the list of troops. So if any of them overlap, they can't work together. Um, so that's one of the issues with RPG Maker here. You can't really combine. Yeah, It's really difficult to combine mods. But you know, it's still, or like someone would need to like collaborate with the mod creators to like combine them together in a way that they're all compatible, and that would probably be a lot of work. Oh, there you go. So I moved these now to be excluded from easy mode. I added some context notes, but I tried to automate it. So I was working on like this huge script for extracting all of the game's text, and I can show you guys what I sent them. This is what I was working on. I was working on essentially a script that automatically generates this from the game's source. So a big script that goes over all of the game and generates this, just puts all of the game's text into a giant document like this and numbers them, gives them all unique names like that. All the dialogue, all the weapon names and descriptions, enemy names, all the dialogue from the encounters are there. And I added something automatic here that adds the speaker. So whenever there's a speaker that's set up, the game like remembers that there was a speaker set up and then like adds it here, or adds the context that these are choices. Sometimes it's a little bit ambiguous, but yeah, so that's what I was working on here, automating this and making sure it all works. No, I can't trust AI for that rhetorical. Because it doesn't just need to... If this was just about manipulating data, it wouldn't be too bad, although the problem is that it needed to be something that can be repeated. And if I repeat it, it needs to give me exactly the same result every time. And AI is really bad at that. AI is really bad at making something, that gives you always the same outcome. That's something AI is really, really bad at. So I needed to program this by hand. I could not, And like, not only does it need to extract all of the game's text, but also it needed to edit the original game to replace all of the text with these codes. And, so I needed to be very, very careful and know exactly what that script is doing, because otherwise it's a button that can just break the source or break the game, So I needed to be very precise and know exactly what it's doing. I could not sort of trust something if I don't know exactly what it's doing. Like, the risk that it just breaks the game in some subtle way I don't know about was too great. And using backups, of course, I did all that. I've been using, just make no mistakes. And the thing, too, is that mistakes are not always obvious, right? Like, something could create a problem somewhere that we only find out, like, a month down the line once the game is live, So I had to have complete control over exactly what it does here. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty... Also, I like that it made me sort of... It forced me to learn a few new things about JavaScript, too. There's a bunch of things I had never really used with JavaScript. Like, I had never done, like, asynchronous logic in JavaScript before making this extraction script thing. I had never done that stuff. So that was good. Getting me through that. And I separated into a bunch of, like, different contexts. One of the things that was complicated, too, is that I needed to separate all of the game's maps by their floors. So I had to go over all the game and actually write in notes which floor each less than not each room now knows which floor it's on, so that the extractor knows where to put each of the lines. Because otherwise this would have been like a huge list for the dialogue. I wanted to like separate it in some sort of logical way, so that they're more like manageable chunks a little bit. But yeah, so this is why I sent to the localization folks like this morning at like 4 a.m. That's why I ended the stream a bit early yesterday. Hmm. All right, so let's keep going here. Yes. Oh, yes. So I need. Let's make a note about that change. Let's see. I guess this is technically balancing. Can no longer get the cold shoulder or no saves bonuses on Explorer mode, since it has there you go. There's not a lot of achievements that are like specific to a difficulty level. Those would, yeah, that would make the cold shoulder achievement, I think, the only one that excludes explorer mode specifically. And also there is, of course, the achievement for hard mode. But all the others are work no matter the difficulty level. All right. Okay, let's go over here with other issues. Usually the challenge achievements all require a ritual ending, I think is how I say it. I think the descriptions mention a ritual ending, which just means, you know, you need to, like any ending that involve you going to the roof, I think. Wait, didn't I do that actually, Jalay? I thought I did actually give him something for that. Maybe I'm thinking something else. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. I actually gave Monty a bunch of variants of each of his skills for if you have a masterpiece. Yeah, they Fire Belch X, Bottoms Up X. So these are all just alternate versions that are stronger if you have a masterpiece. They only appear if you have a masterpiece. Okay, yeah, I can turn up the music. Y'all tell me if it's if it buries me a bit. This song is a little quiet. Yeah, this is all new stuff. Yeah, see, he gets these. Yeah, now he has Pyromania X, Fire Breath X. And of course, Call Juice Box is still there. I'm happy with the balancing and the little improvements I've done to some of the party members. Is there any are there any party members that people still feel are a little bit underpowered or like could use some additions? So I'm still down for like adding little things or tweaking. I think one thing I need to tweak is Helen's more advanced skills. Helen's most advanced skills, like the weird stuff she gets after she uses Massacre, um, I think need to be a little stronger because I feel like most people don't use them. Is Sophie still kind of hmm yeah? Are Sophie's marbles feeling too weak? Or is it more her like regular skills that are feeling weak? I really like how Sophie works. The way that the way that the items are just kind of grants like random skills a bit. Hmm. Yeah, Sophie doesn't scale well into the end game. Maybe I should make her slingshot attacks scale to her level a bit more. I don't think they scale right now. I think hmm. Or maybe just scale to her ballistics more. Yeah, the steel skill is something I've been considering for like since the start, but it's a lot of work to set it up. But it would be really cool. But that means I would need to go over every single character, every single enemy, and assign them like items to steal, which is a lot, but that would be really cool. And it would definitely balance her out a bit for people who want to get the trickster instead. I imagine right now most people prefer to get the trickster over getting Sophie. That's probably one big thing um that's made people sort of not like her as much because now it feels like if she doesn't join your party, you get a huge bonus, which is kind of funny. Hmm. I mean, so this is the hmm. I mean, a lot of these skills are like doubles the ballistic attack. Yeah, maybe I could boost these a little. I mean, the huge, the big final marbles here are pretty destructive. Yeah, is it really difficult? Yeah, it's really difficult to boost their ballistics. Hmm. Yeah. Like how high do you generally get her ballistics to? Yeah, I could boost the multiplier for these attacks a bit. I could boost the multipliers here. At least a bit. Like, okay, right now, is the ultra shot strong? Like, if right now you use the ultra shot, like anyone has like an end game Sophie that, hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay, what about if her hide ability boosted... What if her hide ability boosted her ballistics? So that, like, if you hide and then you shoot with a slingshot, it's stronger. Also, none of these have a critical hit chance. Yeah, you can't actually get a critical from these. Okay, right, no, never mind. That's just how ranged attacks work. So that's actually unrelated. No, she can still actually get crits. Yeah, I think I could give her a small boost. I think I could give a small boost to her ballistics when she's hiding. Well, I mean, you know, she's a child. I think it just makes sense that if she fights with a melee weapon, it's like you should be a little bit discouraged from giving her a big sword. But, you know, if you really have to, it works, but yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll make the hide skill. Yeah, I think I'll make the hide skill boost. I'll make the hide skill boost her ballistics attack by 50%. We'll see how that goes. And also, I'll also make it boost her yeah, there could be a third slingshot could be cool, but it feels like a third slingshot should be like difficult to find since I'm not sure how you could find a third slingshot. Well, also, when she's hiding, it actually also counts as guarding, so she does also take reduced damage. It doesn't just reduce the chance that she gets hit. Not Harriet's room. That's a little too early. Where? Yeah. I think maybe. Where could I put another slingshot? Yeah, Summer's apartment, that's very late game. So that would be the right around time. Maybe the sewer feels a little too early, but If it's like from a quest you do in the sewer, then it's more like after or like late sewer. You know, it's more like something you return to later. Hmm. Yeah, one of the kids in the sewer. That might make sense. Yeah. No, not next to Roxy. That's. I think it would be if it was in the sewers, it would need to be something you need to do there later. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. If you have to complete David's quest, that would make sense. That would feel like it's at least at the end of the sewer. That's very solidly in the end game. Hmm. Yeah. No, Charlie would not have anything. Because Charlie is actually an alligator. Charlie's actually an alligator. That's supposed to be the implied joke of that bit. But it's not really stated outright. Alligators are in sewers. We all know this. It's very known. Hmm. Okay, critical range chance for ranged attacks. That is 146. She gets an extra 20% crit, I think, if she's hiding. Hmm. Actually, maybe 10%. She already has like an attack boost there. Oh! Oh, did I disable that? Maybe I did. Yeah, maybe I did. Okay, there you go. So now she has crit and attack, and like attack with the slingshot slightly boosted when she's hiding. Sophie's slingshot attacks are boosted when she is hiding. There we go.
Oh no, it's time to stretch.
Okay. Let's see how it feels now. Let's do a test fight with Sophie. At level 20 with the super slingshot. And let's just see what the damage looks like. If it feels like it's endgame and like at this point. Oh, wait. Oh. Okay, let's just do Steel Shot. So this is 40. So 43 damage is definitely too low. Now she's not hiding, so that would be about 60 damage if she's hiding. Now she's gonna hide. Again, Steel Shot. Yeah, 67 now. Okay. Oh. Hang on. Now, let's try Ultra Shot. Let's see how that feels here. Ultra Shot is 400 damage now. That definitely feels more like an endgame thing. But like an Ultra Shot, you need to be really lucky to get that. So that could probably use an improvement too. Let's do a Super Bouncer Shot. 57, 61. Oh, there's one crit there. Now she's no longer hidden too, so yeah, this is still a little too weak. For being like, this is meant to be endgame, although she doesn't have any other gear. So, you know, there might be some stuff that could make this stronger, but... Okay, let's have some boosts on that here. Oh, but first, let me just quickly... Okay, I'm gonna run an ad and do a little stretch. And then when I'm back, I'm going to boost these skills a little bit. And then we'll try again. Yeah, it would. Yes, it would. The laser sight mount would boost the slingshot's critical hit rate. Yes. Of course, she can also put on some other gear to boost her ballistics, but All right, let's like the cowboy hat would help and stuff like that. All right. Well, I mean now that the height ability actually boosts our slingshot, it should feel a bit more worth using. All right. So let's just do a little stretch. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. So here, Alter Shot, Death Shot, Charm Shot, Void Shot, Rainbow Shot. Okay, so Ultra Shot, I'm gonna make this times 10 and 40 minimum damage. Death Shot times 5, 25, but there's an instant death part. Void Shot is fine. Okay. Steel Shot is going to be attack times 2. Okay, so these are all boosted a little bit. Boosted a little bit. Okay, the super bouncer shot here. Okay, I see. Yeah, the super bouncer shot was not that much stronger than the regular bouncer shot. Okay. Okay, let's see how these feel now. So this should be a pretty sizable boost to Sophie. Now, this is with only 32 ballistics. Let's see. So let's now just do a regular steel shot without hiding. So now that's 60 without hiding. So that should be about 80, 100 while hiding for a regular steel shot. Now let's try the bouncing shot. $150 damage total there for the bouncing shot. Okay. Now let's go for a super shot. That's 200 damage now. Okay, that's much more. It's much more reasonable, I think. Let's do the super bouncer shot. That's 600 damage, actually 700 because there was a crit. That's a lot better. That is a lot better. 700 shot on that. Now, let's look at the ultra shot. That's 600. As a crit, that would be pretty nasty too. This is definitely now feeling like end game tier stuff. Now again, you do need to actually get those marbles. That's 200 to all enemies and also stun. 150 really. Okay, now let's have her hide first. One of the big weaknesses of the hide is that when you take a hit, there's a chance that removes the hiding. Okay, now let's do the ultra shot while hiding. That's 800 damage. Yeah, that's a lot better. Again, that's like a rare item, so that's not going to be an amount of damage you'll be able to do willy-nilly. But when you pull out the ultra shots, that's going to feel significant. Let's do the super bouncer. Oh, whoa, she was no longer hiding there. That's why it didn't actually do more damage. Let's hide again. So that does cost an extra turn to get her to hide, and there's a chance she takes a hit and immediately leaves hiding. So, like, it makes sense that it's a big boost. It makes sense that it's a big boost because, like, you're putting an entire turn at risk. Like, again, she's no longer hidden there. Now, of course, if you have a larger party, it's not going to happen as much because she's not going to be as likely to be targeted. This is just a 2-person party, so she has a 50% chance of being targeted there. So she does way, way better in a large party. But who doesn't? Now let's do Super Bouncer. Yeah. 200. Yeah, that was a lot of damage. That was a lot of damage. How much was this? About 130 per hit. 6 hits, and one of them was 200. That's a lot. That's big damage now. I think she's entering the realm of big damage now. And now, let's just do a regular steel shot. Actually, a silver shot. $160 with a silver shot. Silver shot should be fairly common. Yeah, silver shot should be fairly common. And yeah, this is without any equipment other than the slightly upgraded super slingshot. Now, if I also give her some stuff that boosts, let's see. What's the best helmet for boosting ballistics? Is it the army helmet? Is it? Wait, which of the helmets gives the most? Is it the cowboy hat, maybe? No, okay, I think it is. Oh, the shadow. The Mask of Shadows. That gives it, yeah, one more. Okay, let's see. Army jacket might boost. Yeah, that boosts that too. Is there boots that boost ballistics? Maybe the army boots? Nope. They don't boost ballistics. The dark boots? No. Patchwork boots? No. Maybe there's no boost that boost ballistics. No, okay, no feet boost ballistics. The cowboy boots. Oh, they're not placed anywhere? Oh, shit. I thought I had put them in a safe. Did I still not actually place the cowboy boots anywhere? The cowboy boots would definitely make sense. Okay, I'll make a note that I need to place the cowboy boots. Alright, I'll make a note of placing all of these. I thought I had placed the high heels and the cowboy boots, but not the others, but... Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking, yeah. Alright, yeah, let's find a place for them later. All right, is there now? Let's see, accessories that boost, the champion's belt. Probably boosts it. Yeah, it boosts it. I don't know if there's one that's better. And let's see, jewelry that boosts, maybe eye amulet. No. The gloves? Oh, yeah, the gloves. That's basically that, yeah. Wait, are the gloves jewelry and not accessories? Okay, now you meant an accessory. Yeah. Yeah, that does boost it. All right, let's see. Is there jewelry that boosts maybe the war medal? No. Carnelian ring? No. Lapis band? No. Odd necklace. Copper bangle. Gold bracelet. There you go. Now our attack is 61. That might be the most you can give her right now. This is like with everything that can boost. Let's see what she's like now. And that might go a little bit crazy, but I mean, you need to really invest in that. Get her hide. Okay, she's still hiding. Ranged. Yeah. That's, yeah, well, you know, that'll change. All right, let's see. How much does an Ultra Shot do now? Yep. There we go. Now that's endgame damage. Now, that was 1400, but that took 2 turns to do. That did take 2 turns to do, but I think it's definitely worth it for when you're using a limited item like that to boost it as much as possible. You know? Yeah, that's big damage, and a crit would make that 2000 damage. So that's pretty good. Yeah, that's big damage. Yeah, let's see. Let's try Super Bouncer Shot without hiding. 130, 300, 303. Holy shit! How much was this? That was 3 crits, and she wasn't even hiding. That was nuts. That was fucking crazy. That was crazy. Now let's hide instead. Oh. See, that is the problem. Every time, you know, she's hiding, there's a chance she's spotted if they attack her. That is the big drawback to this. You're taking a chance every time you hide, but it's like an opportunity to get big damage. I kind of like that. And again, if there's more people in the party, it's a bit less likely that she takes a hit. Okay, now... let's do... Yeah, now that I'm hiding, let's do Ultra Shot. Wait, no. I already tried that. Let's do Explosive Shot while hiding. Excellent hit. 700 to all... No, okay, 700 to one, 300 to the other. Mm-hmm. There you go. I like that. I like that. I mean, she's very strong, but her access to those strong moves are very limited. Like, you need to be very lucky. You need to be very lucky to get those marbles. So I feel like it's not busted. Like, these are very, very finite. These are very finite resources. And this is with, like, all the gear you can give her, including some stuff you can't actually give her yet. And also, yeah, she needs to hide, so it takes 2 turns. I think this works. Alright, there you go. So now... And now let's do just a steel shot while hiding. So that's 300 damage if she's hiding and doing a crit. And using a steel shot. And doing a regular attack. Oh, that was not that. Let's do a regular attack with... Yeah, let's do a regular slingshot attack now. So that's 62 damage still. If she's not hiding, that would be 80 damage or so if she was hiding there. Let's see. And now while hiding... Yeah, hiding and with a silver shot. Yeah, on a crit now she does like 600-ish damage with a steel shot. Silver shot. Okay, yeah. So her stealing is way, way higher now. That should actually, you know, she should no longer feel like she's sort of left by the wayside by the end game. But you do need to spend resources. Alright, let's see. Do you need to update these here? No, I'm not going to give more marbles. The whole point of that is that your actions are limited. The whole point is that your ability to do this stuff is limited. There we go. All right. Now let's check to see like halfway through the game how it feels a bit. So let's lower her level to like level 10. And let's give her more like normal sort of mid-game stuff. So she might have... She might just have like the cowboy hat. She's not going to have the cowboy boots. Okay, so this here is more like a mid-game Sophie. Steel shot. So mid-game Sophie, so around level 10. Now she does 60 damage with a steel shot. With a bouncing shot that should be around like 150. Yeah. With a super bouncer shot. There we go. And with an ultra shot with like mid-game stuff. Oh, that's 1200 on a crit. So that would have been around 800 damage with the ultra shot. And now let's go for early game. When she just enters your party. Remove the army jacket. So now her ballistics are at 20. Steel shot. $37 damage. Bouncing shot. 31. That's 90 damage for that. And now let's do an ultra shot in the early game. It's gonna be like around 400. That's basically like a boss killer in the early game still. With a crit that would be around 600 damage. I think that's a good spread. I think that's a good spread of damage. 100 on each with the explosive shot. Now let's hide. And let's do super bouncer shot when hiding. 85, 85, 89. There you go. Yeah, this feels like this is now more appropriate. It scales a little bit better over the whole game now. I'm actually curious about the drop rates of the... I'm actually kind of curious, like, if you play a whole game and you reach, like, the final boss and you have Sophie in your party, what's like your distribution of marbles? You know? Like, what is, like, a typical marble distribution by the time you reach, like, by the time you reach the roof? By the time you reach, like, day 14. And you have Sophie from the early. Normal marbles only? You never get good ones? Okay, you use all your special marbles, right? Yeah. But like if you had not really used any of them. Let's test it. I'm gonna start I'm gonna start a game. I'm gonna get her into the party, and then I'm just gonna skip forward to see how many marbles she just gets, like, just whenever sleeping. So skipping the marbles she would also get through fights. So that wouldn't give all of the marbles she's getting, but it should give, like, about half of them. So we can just sort of imagine that there's about 2 times more. Let's go cursed mode. Give me cursed mode. Yeah, she should be holding her own a little bit more now. I really like the dynamic of the hide mechanic. The way that it works really well with someone protecting her. Like, it works really well if you have characters that draw aggro to them. Because you just want anyone, like, you really want to avoid her taking hits as much as possible. Because that just takes her out of that mode. Okay, so let's cheat to get Sophie in the... No, not that. Is it this one? Yes. Recruit Sophie. Okay, we got the little menace. Oh, I think she normally has a few starting marbles when she normally joins your party, right? I think she normally has a few starting ones, I think, so that would remove those. Yeah, she comes with a few random ones. How many, like, I forget, maybe like just 6 or so? But let's just, you know, set aside that. Change the day. She's found special marbles, Bumblebee and Bouncing, and 4 regular. Steel and Yellow Slag marble, and 4 regular. Sunburst and Silver. Sunburst is a good one. Steel and Silver marble, and 4 regular. Okay. So this is what we got so far. Now, we would get more normally. We would normally get more by also exploring. And also if we can raise luck, luck actually affects how many marbles she finds. Okay, Steel and Bumblebee and regular. Steel bouncing. Steel bouncing again. Two steel marble, that's it. Oof. Steel and bouncing. Yeah, I'm not getting any of the good ones. And we're like halfway through the game. Although again, we would get more just by going around and fighting. Although that's limited. Like every hour that passes as you explore adds more marbles that can appear in battle. And so you are limited in how many you can find by fighting. But it adds more. So silver and bouncing. That means basically that if she follows you as you explore, she finds more than if she stays home, basically. Which makes sense, I think. Yes, you get less. You do get fewer marbles in cursed mode. Steel and bouncing marble. Yes, luck affects your chance. Silver and Bumblebee. Okay, let's go around and fight a bit. Just to get a vibe of like how many more we find. And there should be a lot to find right now. So let's go out and... There we go. Yeah, all the events are happening all at once. Yeah, now if we fight a few things here... 60 damage on a crit. $39. Let's see if we get lucky with a marble here. No marbles yet. That could be a little dangerous, actually. She'd probably just die here. Let's go somewhere else. Just want to get a feeling for how many we find normally. Okay. I'll just do this whole place here, and we'll see if she finds any. Still none. Still none. Still none. Get him. Still not finding any. Let's go in here. Let's do a bumblebee shot. They're all weak to piercing, so. Oh, she's dead. Whoop. And I don't have anything to revive her. Whoops. Yeah, you really don't want to use a baseball bat on these guys. There we go. Okay, yeah, didn't actually get any at all from here. Yes. Sophie's luck does increase the chance to find marbles. Sophie found a marble. She found a bouncing marble. There you go. Found one. Found one. So yeah, it's not super common. But as you explore and you fight monsters, it just randomly happens like this. So you find a bit more than like just from sleeping. And the more she tags along, the more that she finds.
Oh no, it's time to stretch.
Oh geez, right, it is very late. It is very late in the game now. Oh geez. Oh my. Oh my. Right. Yeah. Yeesh. Let's come back later. Maybe, let's go find some rats. Let's see if we get more luck with, wrong place. Let's fight some rats. Oh no. Alright, rats. Oh, Sophie can annihilate these with, she can annihilate these. Yes. Cursed mode gets you way, way fewer marbles. Let's do, bouncing shot. There we go. Multi-hit. Some marbles. Steel marble and silver marble. There we go. I mean, these were not good marbles, but still. I think it's maximum once per battle, though. And like I said, there's like a set of marbles that like the longer you explore without finding one, the more extra marbles she's gonna find. So I might actually get another one right away. I might get another one right away here. Do a bumblebee shot. Nice. That's a crit. Steel shot on you. Trick poison learned. I think it never happens on the first turn, too. So I think I need to make sure to last at least 2 turns. Anxious. Silver shot on the belly rat. 97 damage. There you go. $26 with a regular marble. Yeah. So yeah, I've cleared out quite a few things, and I got like, yeah, like a bouncing shot, basically a bunch of normal, bunch of low tier marbles. The best one I got, I think, was the sunburst. The sunburst marble and the yellow slag marble. This is actually a high tier one. Not top tier, but it's a high tier one. Let's see if we get a little bit more lucky now if we keep sleeping. Now let's go back to here and see if we get a few more good ones before the end. Crimson Swirl Marble, that's a high tier one. And 4 regular marbles. Red Wave and Jade Ribbon. And 4 regular ones. I think there's only like 2 days left now. Oh, actually, this is the final day. So, the final day, without exploring, just kind of leaving her. This is the marbles I end up with here. So the best one I found, the best 2 ones are the yellow slag and the crimson swirl. And these are like, yeah, these are fairly high tier. Let's see. I didn't get any of the top tier ones at all. I didn't get any of the top tier ones. Yeah, it's Vampiric, Shot, Shocking Shot, then get a Super Bouncer. So yeah, I got 2 that are like the high tier. I got none of the top tier. And most of what I got is the low tier ones. Silver, Steel, Bouncing Marble. And these 3 here are the mid tier. Here. Yeah, I didn't actually get a single one of the top tier. Yeah, I guess not everyone's even going to get a single one of those. But it's going to happen. I feel like most people are going to get 1 in the entire game. Like, that's going to be like a one-time use thing. That's the impression I got. Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that works. So yeah, she now has access to some potentially really, really powerful stuff. But you need to be lucky. You need to get those marbles for it. Yeah. The way that the chance of it works, especially now, in lower difficulty levels, you are gonna get the good shit. Let's try this again. This time, let's not even go out. Let's just stay home. And let's just play on Explorer mode. You'll see the difference right away, I think. That's where you're going to get all the cool shit. I imagine I'll have, even without going out to explore, I imagine I'll have like maybe 3 top tier ones. And like, yeah, normal mode is going to be somewhere in between those 2. And also, you know, she also spawns with a few at the start that we don't get when we cheat like this. So, special marbles, steel marble, silver, bouncing, and red wave. So right away, so all of these are like, these two are bottom tier. Well, steel is bottom tier. These two are low tier. And red wave is mid tier. Alright, so yeah, you can see right away a big difference there. Red wave, silver, 2 silver, and a jade ribbon. Yeah, it's a pretty big difference. Crystal and bumblebee marble. Alright. 2 steel, silver, and a bouncing. Okay, that was kind of a dud. 3 steel and a silver. Ah, now that's a real dud. That was awful. Steel, bouncing, sunburst, and red wave. Still haven't really found top tier ones, though. 2 bouncing is good, though, with silver. Okay. Yeah, still not getting any of the good shit. Black onyx. That is a high tier one. Not top tier, but high tier. Okay, I don't know what day we're at now. Okay, we got like 4 or 5 days left. Let's see if we can get a top tier one. Black onyx and stripe. These are high tier, not top. Again, no top tier. I think we got 2 more. 2 more rolls. Ah, there we go. We got 1 first top tier. Cupid's marble. That's the instant charm one. And I think that's the final day. Yeah. So we only found 1 top tier one this time here. Though again, we would have more just by going out by exploring. Crystal marble, that is a high tier, not a top tier, I think. Yeah. That is freezing shot, yeah. So that is like, no, these are still really good. This is like attack times 6. Cupid's marble. That is a very rare one. That's attack times 4, but 80% chance to charm. Actually, you know what? That should probably be 100% chance to charm, considering just how rare it is. Yeah, considering how rare this is, maybe this should be 999% charm. And death shot. Let's make that 90% chance to kill. There we go. Now, some bosses have a reduced chance to die instantly from stuff like this, so it wouldn't actually work on these. This just means that for most enemies it would always work. And most, like, more minor bosses, this is a one-hit kill. Yeah, there you go. So I think that's pretty good. And yeah, these are very, yeah, the high tier ones are very rare. My favorite one is the Super Bouncer, and I didn't get a single damn one. Again, you would get more by exploring with her. And yeah, the final roll before the end of the game did get a Crimson Swirl out of it. But now it's the end. Yeah, so yeah, those Ultra Shot, Death Shot, these are not seen very much at all. I think this is a good balance. I think this is a good balance. You know? Now she can kind of hold her own at the end game, but she needs to be protected because her health is still really low. And also, the way that she can boost her attack can be interrupted whenever she takes a hit. So she still feels very vulnerable, I think. But now she has potential. Now she has real damage potential. If you get lucky with the marbles, especially, and if you invest with like boosting her ballistics, yeah, I think that works. I think that's a good rebalance. We'll see. Yeah, Ultra Shot, that's the crazy one. That's 100 damage plus 16 times her ballistics. That is huge. That is huge. That's big damage. Yeah. I think that should make her much more relevant in the end game. Yeah. Yeah, any bosses that always do like that attack all targets. Although when she takes a hit, she's not guaranteed to lose the hide status. And also, she can still use her stuff when she's not hiding. It's just that some bosses she just can't hide from. So that makes her particularly vulnerable to those. But now she can still at least, do a big part of the damage. Now ambush. Yeah. Now ambush. So, people were talking about that her tricks maybe need a little boost. I mean, Chaos is very good. Chaos is just a bunch of status effects. And most of these are just status effects. And the damage she does is not really like the part, it's not really an important part. Ambush is too much stamina. Yeah, 8. Well, it's 4 times the damage. Wait, did I already boost this? You said double the damage only. It's times 4 here. Did I already boost this? Oh, okay, right. She has half melee damage. Right. Well, still, yeah, it's 4 times the normal. Yeah. What if ambush did more damage if the target has more status effects? That would fit well with how her kit gives a bunch of status effects already. I feel that ambush would be a good place to put that mechanic. So chaos would be a really good way to lead into ambush. That could be a way to make ambush better. Yeah. It's true. The tricks do unhide you. But also the status, most of these status effects last multiple turns. But that would mean there's a lot of setup for it. And of course, you can have other characters also apply status effects. I think Ambush does on Hide You, yes. Yep, it does. Yeah, Ambush does actually remove the hiding. It's actually the only one that directly removes hiding. The others just apply a state that's like, that sort of makes her hiding like a partial. So she still has the state. She just has like a revealed herself state that sort of like compensates for her. At least that's the idea, is that she's a bit more likely to be targeted after she does a trick. So it's like risky to do tricks. But it doesn't actually remove the hide status on its own. Okay, let's do... No, I think Ambush should actually remove the hidden state entirely, and it should just be better. It should just make it worth it. You know? All right, let's do one last stretch. I did start late, so I'll end a little bit late. Let's do one last stretch. And yeah, I'll add something here that's going to count the number of status effects on a target. And that's going to add a multiplier to the attack. I think that should be pretty cool. All right, let's do one last stretch. Ooh. Game Battler, car level. There's Sophie. There's the marble find mechanic there. There's the logic if you wanted to know. There's the steal item mechanic that's not actually in there. Yeah, there's the special marbles. There's the special marbles here. So 28% chance to get tier 0. That's the steel marbles. And 40% chance to get tier 1. That's all the kind of weaker marbles there. Then 20% chance to get tier 2. 10% chance to get tier 3. And then 2% chance, 2% to get the high tier stuff. That's why it's really rare. And then after this, it just draws one at random. So it's a 2, every time you draw marbles, any single marble It's a 2% chance to get the top tier ones. But now there's also, well, the thing is, when I call for rolling a marble, there's a minimum and there's a maximum tier. You see? And I can set a minimum or maximum based on the luck. And this is where the luck comes in. So I can force it to get a higher tier or a lower tier one. I think it's here. Or I think it's like when sleeping. It's not when sleeping. Is it on new day then? Yeah, I forget where I put that. Sophie, there you go. There's the special marbles, and here. So the number of special marbles found, there it is. So this is the number of marbles to find. The base number is 4 for easy, 3 for normal, and 2 for hard mode. There's a number of special ones to roll for. And then you roll 100 and you add the luck of Sophie. And then based on this, there's a chance to add extra marbles. Up to 2 extra marbles based on a roll based on the luck here. So that means if you have very high luck on easy mode, you can get up to 6 marbles when you sleep. In a hard mode, you can get up to 4. And she always finds 4 regular marbles on top of that. Yeah, that's how it works. And I can also force specific types of marbles for like certain rewards or stuff like that. And when I think that's used for when she joins the party. I think there's when she joins the party, her initial ones, her initial marbles here. Yeah, that should boost. That should basically give her 2 extra marbles. That should give her 2 extra marbles per day. There you go. So easy mode, she gets 4. She starts with 20 base marbles, 4 steel, and then she gets two marbles that are always the bottom tier, and then 2 marbles that are randomly picked from tier 2 to tier 4. Normal mode, she gets 12 basic marbles, 3 steel marbles, and then 3 marbles that are completely random from 1 to 4. And then hard mode, 8 marble, 8 normal, 2 steel, and then 2 random marbles from all types. So yeah, this is where this. And then when you fight an enemy, I think those you get when you fight, that's gonna be the battle scripts. So much scripts in here. So many scripts. So I think it's battle turn. If Sophie is in the party and she's not unconscious. There you go. So every hour that passes while you explore, there is a number that goes up here. Marble find hours. And then, you know, the longer you spend without finding marbles, the more likely you are to find more. And then on easy mode, the amount you get is, how frequently you find them changes. So it's on average every 4 hours of exploring in hard mode you find one. In normal mode, it's every 3 hours on average, and in easy mode, it's every 2 hours. And then the actual marbles you get are like this. Again, it's based on luck in part. Luck also, adds, just gives you a chance to just roll more times on the table. So the luck doesn't actually affect the chance you get rare marbles. It just means you get more marbles overall, so you just end up. So the ratio of lower level to higher level marbles should be the same in all difficulty levels. You just get way, way more rolls on Explorer. And if you have high luck. There you go. That's how it works. Now you know. Now you know. Okay, so this is marble find. Okay, now let's do ambush scaling. Status count. Yeah, it's just more rolls on the table. So it's still just 2% chance that you get the top ones. Yep. So about 1 in 50 marbles you find are going to be the top tier ones. And, if you explore a lot on normal mode, and if you have high luck, you're going to get more than 50 marbles. But, Okay, so scale 1 and now I need to count the number of status effects the character has. Now, not all status effects are going to count. I think it's only going to be the status effects that she can apply, but it's not going to, anyone will be able to apply them. With maybe a few exceptions. There could be some that are counted as extra. Like probably that Philippe's poison. Probably that Philippe's poison will count as an alternate for regular poison. So if someone is afflicted by both, it doesn't add up, but both of them count for it. If that makes sense. I'm glad you liked it, Andy. Okay, there you go. Is target affected? Is state affected, and now let's make notes of all the status effects that this should count. I don't know if Joel needs a boost. I feel like Joel is really strong already. I don't know if Joel needs a boost. Yeah, Joel seems pretty good. Okay, so poison. Sure. Blind. Panic. Rage. Confusion. Charm. Charm is going to count as 2. Sleep is going to count as 2. I'll just add comments here so I remember what these are. Confusion. Rage. Panic. Blind. Poison. Yeah, Spider has had a big boost. Yeah, Spider now has a bunch of gear that it can equip. Bleed 1. Bleed 2. Bleed 3. Paralysis. Stun. Burn. Acid. Aster hasn't changed much yet, but I will probably... Although, I mean, he's already pretty good, I think. I think he's already pretty good. Drowsy. I don't think there's any way for you to apply Drowsy. Fear. I don't think there's any way you can apply Fear either. But whatever. Let's still add it. And Frozen. 31. Yeah, maybe Soft Touch. Maybe Soft Touch to Helen's Massacre would make sense. And oh, Spore Poison. Yeah, so here, Spore Poison is going to be considered... Actually, you know what? No. Spore Poison... 25 is just gonna be... But only if... Alright, so if poison and spore poison are both applied, it only picks one of them. If charm and confusion are both applied, it should only pick one of them. Rage and panic, I think these can both be there. Sleep and drowsy are both applied, it only applies on one of them. That shouldn't really happen, but... And bleed should also be mutually exclusive. There we go. So some of these are mutually exclusive. Paralysis and stun, if they're both applied, they should not add up either, because they're both kind of doing the same thing. But paralysis is worse. Fear and panic, they're not actually really related, but I still kind of want to do this, because it feels like one of them contains the other still. Okay, so there we go. So this is all of the boosts that can happen to... So what's the maximum multiplier here? To someone, actually, not maximum, just like a good multiplier here. So someone has like... So let's actually look at chaos here. Chaos, confusion, blind, stun, and poison, right? So confusion is 25%. Blind is 25%. Stun is 25%. And poison is 25%. All of these together would add up to 100. So this would double the damage to someone who has all that. I think that's too low. The base, I think I'm going to reduce the base multiplier of ambush by half, and I'm going to double all of these. So some of these on their own are basically doubling the damage. Charm should double it. Confusion adds 50%. Sleep doubles it. Drowsy 50%. Again, that one's not really going to happen. 25, 50, and 1. 1 and 50. Okay, so now we're calculating this. That should be 2. Yeah. So you have confusion. That's 50%. Blind, 50%. Yeah. So this would multiply it by 300% the damage. Okay. On someone who has like these status effects on. Let's see. Let's see what that does. Let's just experiment with it here. Yeah. Let's... Okay. Let's try this out. Test dummy. Max level Sophie. That would take all of her mana to do that, of course. Of course you can find some... headband. All right. Let's see what this would do here. Oh. Made a mistake here somewhere. Where did I make a mistake? Oh, here. Got it. Okay, let's see. Now, she's gonna hide. Okay. Now she's going to do Trick Chaos. Okay, we got 3 and we got missed 1. Okay. Now no longer stuns, only has 2 status effects. She's still hiding. Do ambush. Let's see how much damage that does. Let's see if that's enough. 35. What was the multiplier there? Yeah, that doesn't work. Is that multiplier? Okay, let's have it here spit out. Status count multiplier. Let's see where that number was coming from. That was weirdly low. Also, let's have her attack normally first so we can get a measure of how that compares. Wait, 3 damage? Oh, is it because she can't actually wield the pitchfork? So it doesn't work, even though I can pick it here? Yeah, but 3 damage with a pitchfork, I don't think that's clearly something not working here. What's the best? Yeah, it's two-handed. So that's probably unequipping it. Yeah. Yeah, let's do combat knife. Okay, now do attack with that. 20 damage with a combat knife. Okay. Now, you're gonna hide. So normally that would be 40 damage or so. And now she was forced out of hiding. Hide again. She was forced out of hiding again. Forced out of hiding again. I was a lot more lucky with the hiding and when I was doing the slingshot stuff.
Oh no, it's time to stretch.
Okay, now special chaos. Okay, that's only going to be one status effect though on each by the time she gets to act, I think. Let's just do another. Let's just do this again to pile up more statuses. Oh yeah, we can try. We can see it without it. That would just be like a really basic attack. But let's try it with just these two. That would be just one. I think the stun is gonna go away before her attack goes off, but I'm not sure. Let's do ambush. No, 200 damage. There you go. That was 200 damage. That is not bad. Although it takes a lot of setup and takes a lot of turns. But that was just 2 status effects. Considering that was pretty good. If you find a way to stack way more status effects on someone, that could be a lot better. But it could be a little stronger still. Oh, she got lucky this time. Now let's do this on just... Let's do ambush this time on someone without a status effect. It's going to be about like 100, I think. Oh, that was a crit. So that was 170. That was a crit, though. So that would have been about 100 otherwise, I think. Yeah. What's a party member that can do a shit ton of status effects at once? Philippe. She would actually be like a natural ally of Philippe now. Which is kind of fun. Spider too. Yeah, Spider and Philippe. Yeah. All right, yeah, let's time him up. Let's team him up. What an unlikely duo. I think Malison would be the one that gives it to everybody, right? Well, let's wait for... Actually, no, let's just do Malison right now. Paralyzed. Blinded, paralyzed, bleeding, burning. There we go. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Let's see what's gonna happen now. Yeah. How much are you gonna do? And you're gonna apply a curse. Oh boy. 400 damage. There we go. There we go. That's pretty good. I think it could be a bit stronger if it also has a chance to remove the status effects? Right now it doesn't. Right now it's just... There's no chance that it removes the status effects. It just does big damage. Now, it is something that removes her from hiding, so it does make her essentially lose a turn afterwards. So that limits the strength a bit. But I think if there's a chance it can remove status effects, it shouldn't be 100%. Maybe each status effect has like a 30% chance of being removed. So you can't easily just stack it up constantly. Curse on test dummy again. No longer confused. Oh, that only removes status effect there. And also she got a hit again. Okay, you're gonna hide again, and you're gonna use Malison. Ah. She just can't stay hidden right now. Poison, blinded, burning. Poison, blinded, burning. And now ambushed. $500 damage on a crit. Yeah, this is way stronger now, but I'm actually gonna make it a little bit stronger still. Yeah, I think I could boost her stamina a little bit, but yeah, you would want to either find another way of inflicting those status effects, or find ways to boost her stamina to be able to do both of those. Yeah, I'm gonna make this a little stronger. But there's going to be a chance now that it removes the status effects that are afflicted by this. It's not going to be guaranteed to remove them. Like a 50% chance. 50% chance. So sometimes you might lock out and be able to do it multiple times. I mean, these are already things that go away on hit. With bleed, because I'm putting it in this order, it would paralysis. So yeah, now it's gonna be, there's gonna be a chance that they lose a bunch of these. There we go. Okay. So that should be a little bit less spammable that way. But I'm going to increase these further. Since, you know, it takes a lot of setup, I feel like it can be a bigger pop-off that way. I feel like it's warranted. That it gives you a slightly better payoff. Since it takes so much setup. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. Same setup as before. She's gonna hide. You're going to use Curse on Test Dummy 1. Because the individual status effects are more likely to go off on Curse. Confuse, Asleep, Stun, Bleeding. That's a lot of statuses. Let's see what happens to him. Ah, shit. She was unhidden already. Okay, try on you. Stunned. Only confused and stunned. Okay, okay. And now, Sophie, you're going to ambush Test Dummy 1. And you're going to apply another curse on Test Dummy B. $400 damage. Okay. That was fewer that was only 2 status effects, though. That was only 2 status effects that were left, I think. Poison and falls asleep. Ah, miss. That's the problem with the knife. And she's no longer hiding. Bleeding has stopped. Yeah, it's 400 on like 2 statuses, it seems. Let's see what the multipliers were like. Status count multiplier. Times 4.5. Times 3.25, 4.5. When you submit it, there's going to be like a form to fill up, and you can put the details in the form there, or you can just like write an email with the same things as what the form says. Hide and curse. Just poisoned. On someone who's just poisoned, let's see what this does, and let's do another curse. Bleeding. Yeah, okay, so on an ambush like this. Okay. .5, 3.25, 2.25. 2.25 is what happens when it's like 1 or 2 statuses. And it can be multiplied by up to like 4.5. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah. Hmm. Let's try this again. With that slight change there. You're gonna hide. You're gonna use Malison. Oh, I was very unlucky. Happens sometimes, I guess. This time you're gonna use Chaos. And you're gonna place a curse on you. Blinded asleep. Okay. You're gonna ambush. Blinded asleep is gonna be the stronger of these. And you're gonna place another curse on you. $500 damage, yeah. That is pretty good. Yeah. Hide. Okay, there we go. Now that's a cocktail of now that's a cocktail of statuses. Let's see what this does now. Still 500. That seemed like that should have been way more this time. That was like the same as the... I mean, I guess it was different statuses. That was times 4 and times 3.25. Okay. It was times 4. So that was our attack. Attack plus 10 times 4 times 4. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, her stamina scale is still very low. She only ends like without any sort of any sort of additions. Wait, no, that's not. There we go. So she starts at 10 stamina, and at level 20, she just has 18. Could boost that a little further. So she has 22. It gives a little bit more leeway. Still starts at 10. And now it grows a little further. And of course you can use items to boost that further. Deals. Deals increased damage for every status effect on the target. All right, nice. So yeah, that's a big boost to ambush. That is a big boost to ambush. Yeah, I could add Soft Touch to Massacre. Yeah. Yeah, I do want to boost Helen's weirder skills. Yeah, Helen's that's on my to-do list here. All right, there we go. Okay, yeah, maybe next time I'll look into Helen's weirder skills and make sure that make sure that they work the way I want them to. Because yeah, right now I feel like most people, when they use Helen, they basically just use stalk, stab, and massacre, and maybe use the the move to give her massacre back quickly. But that's about it. So if I want people to use her other skills, I need to boost them a little bit. Yeah. All right, but yeah, that's going to be it for tonight, though. That's going to be it for tonight. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. Before I go, let me quickly link my Patreon. And let's look for someone to raid. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. Oh, the same person as yesterday is still streaming today. Rubicon Harley. Let's raid them again. All right. All right, folks. Thank you all for watching, and take care.